Well, I'm back. My goal for my last video was to reach 50 views, and I thought it'd take me a week to do so, but you guys got me 100 views in just a day. So I gotta keep up and bless the YouTube algorithm with more content. Most people's reaction to my last YouTube video was, we want to see less of you. But the critical response to the video itself was pretty positive, and the reason I'm keep going is because of, well, this comment right here. You have the hard part down, which is like being actually funny and charismatic for the most part. Jasut, gotta make sure the attention is there. So, tonight, we're reviewing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh my god, I've never seen anybody carry a movie so hard before.
Everything right about this movie was Wanda, the Scarlet Witch. So the reason we're starting with the cons this time is because Scarlet Witch carries the movie so hard that the rating I give at the end of this video is 100% because of her. So the main boyo character protagonist of the movie is Doctor Strange. Unlike the first movie, he doesn't really have much of a personality and he becomes a very generic character. There's nothing special about him. Now, you don't need a crazy over-the-top personality to make a good movie. Using the Marvel Cinematic Universe as an example, Captain America movies versus the Iron Man movies. Everybody likes Iron Man as a character better than Captain America.
What did he say?
Or most people do, sorry, Captain America fans. But I'll admit, the Captain America movies are far superior than the Iron Man movies.
That's cap! That's cap! That's cap!
I feel like I'm offending like over half of the Marvel fan base. I hope not, it's just an opinion. However, Doctor Strange was so dull in this movie that I feel like if this was a solo Scarlet Witch movie, then I would easily give this movie a 10. Sam Raimi and Scarlet Witch go together so well. Back to discussing the specifics of the cons, the writing of the movie is pretty weak in my opinion. Again, aside from Scarlet Witch, I really need to talk about other things. But for example, there's this huge reveal into Doctor Strange's past where it discusses the death of their sibling. It discusses the death of Doctor Strange's sister. Yet, they briefly mention it, even though I feel like it's such a huge plot point, and I honestly forgot about it when the movie ended, not only because Scarlet Witch carried really hard.
Not the baby.
Shut up! Shut up, please! Shut up, please! But it was just so easily forgettable. Not until I rewatched the movie did I go, oh right, this is huge. She's dead. Just give another example. There's this scene where Doctor Strange and emo Doctor Strange fight with music notes. And honestly, I bet on paper it seems like a really good idea. And I bet it was, just thinking about how it was composed. I bet it really looked intriguing on paper. Or should I say, the score, or the sheet. Because the fight scene ended up looking like, hey look, I take apple from MacBook, and now it's just a book. Also, Wong being a great character, nothing about him necessarily stood out in this movie. Again, aside from the fact that he's the Sorcerer Supreme now, but even that didn't feel like too much of, that important. The point of him being the Sorcerer Supreme was kind of just, hey, people now listen to him more than they already did, but people already listened to him enough. I mean, he already had that superiority. And I almost forgot, America Chavez, the Latina superhero whose superpowers are the ability to jump across the border. Marvel, that's really messed up. Honestly, nothing really stood out to me about her character too much. She just seemed like a generic teenager with superpowers, which is totally cool because I am honestly curious to see how she fits in with the rest of the Marvel teenagers going into Phase 4, because that's really where Marvel is driving their attention to. So I can't say too much about whether I like her character or not. We'll just have to see in the future. Alright, the pros. Before I get into the many pros of Scarlet Witch, I'll get the other pros out of the way first. I honestly love the Illuminati reveal. Honestly, I didn't even recognize some pretty missable Easter eggs, such as Professor X literally wearing his X-Men 97 suit, as I was geeking out over the X-Men animated series theme song playing in the background when he wheeled in. That song is literally my ringtone. It is so fire. The aesthetic and color choices were also fantastic in this movie. I love them so much. The intro sequence and even, any trippy scene, Illuminati scene, they were just so well done. And honestly, walking out of the theater made me a Sam Raimi fan. I honestly wanted to go and watch, Evil Dead or something. Because Sam Raimi had just done a spectacular job with, the colors, the visuals, the camera work. I'm also really glad that they casted John Krasinski, is that how you say his name, as Mr. Fantastic. And it is gonna be a little weird having both Jims from The Office in the same universe.
It's time to simp.
Scarlet Witch carried this movie so hard, man. This movie would literally be less than a 6 if it wasn't for her. But wow, if there was ever an Oscar-worthy performance, it would be this one. I'm telling you guys, this is how a character is supposed to be written. The writing, the dialogue, the acting, even the character herself, her superpowers, her ability to travel through reflections.
What the hell is even that?
Her ability to express unstable emotion. Is that an ability? And not to sound sadistic, but watching her go around, slaughter superheroes, and choke Chavez was the most satisfying moment in any movie ever. Also, her horror scenes, jump scares included, although they didn't always scare me, they were still so much fun to watch, honestly. And I would even argue that Scarlet Witch at times seemed a lot more intimidating than Thanos? Who to me was always portrayed more of like a gangster character than a mass murderer, which is totally cool. Loved his character too. But of course, they had to mess it up and kill her in the end of the movie, which was very disappointing. But I'm sure she'll make a return. If she might not, who knows. But when she does, I'm gonna be applauding in theaters. She is one of the greatest things Marvel has ever written. There is so much more that could be said about this movie, but I think I've been talking about Scarlet Witch for too long. I give this movie an 8 out of 10. Honestly, that rating is pretty high considering that the plot was written really weak and so was the main character. But that just goes to prove that visuals, great fight scenes, great action scenes, same thing. And 200% of the Scarlet Witch absolutely carried this movie. Now, if you disliked how the Scarlet Witch was written and thought that her overpoweredness took away from the movie, I understand where you're coming from. And I'd also understand how you could give this movie anywhere from 5 to 8, the range of 5 to 8. But that's all from me, folks. Like and subscribe, and I'll keep posting.